Have you ever heard one of those stories, about someone who just disappears? They walk into the woods or they turn a corner and they are never, ever seen again. Well, today we're going to dive into one of the oldest and frankly most unsettling explanations for these vanishing acts.
And this isn't just from one place, it's everywhere. It's this universal fear, right? It's woven into folklore all over the globe. You've got the story of the hiker who strays from the path, the kid who wanders off at the park. Yeah, they're cautionary tales, sure, but they all point to the same terrifying idea, that you can be here 1 second and just gone the next.
And this is where it gets really chilling. It's not just about being physically lost, it's about losing yourself. The memories, why you were there, who you were even looking for, they just start to unravel. It's a way deeper kind of disappearance than just not knowing where you are on a map.
So you have to ask, right? What if all that folklore isn't just a bunch of scary stories to keep kids in line? What if it's a faded memory of a very real threat? A kind of predator that doesn't leave fingerprints or clues for the police to find? That's the rabbit hole we're going down today.
Because according to these ancient tales, the people who vanish aren't just lost by accident. Oh no. They are taken. And their destination? Well, it's a place you won't find on any map.
Look, this isn't a crime you can understand in human terms. There's no ransom, no motive of revenge. The reasons are way more alien, more whimsical. And honestly, that makes it so much more terrifying. Because the things responsible, they aren't human at all. There's something far, far older.
So who are these kidnappers? Well, the old stories, they have a name for them. They're called the Fae, the Fair Folk, or sometimes people just whisper and call them the Others.
Now, get any idea of tiny, glittering fairies out of your head right now. That's not what we're talking about. The true Fae are these incredibly powerful, ancient beings from a place completely outside our reality. Their minds just don't work like ours. For them, reality is just clay, and they're the sculptors. And sometimes, we're the clay.
And that's really the heart of the issue, isn't it? You can't reason with them, you can't bargain. Their goals, their motivations might not even be something our brains can process because they operate on a logic that is completely, utterly alien to us.
So, why? Why do they do it? Well, the reason might be as simple as a child picking a flower because it looks pretty. They might want a new servant for their bizarre gardens, a plaything for an afternoon that lasts 100 years, or just a new piece for their collection. But whatever you do, never, ever make a deal with them, because it's always a trap. To them, a human life is as fleeting as a summer afternoon.
Okay, so what happens to the stolen? Where do they go? It's not some dungeon with chains and stone walls. It's a place called Fairy, and it is so much more insidious because it's a prison made of wonder.
Just try to imagine it. A world where time doesn't mean anything, where the sky might be made of clockwork and the rivers flow with pure emotion. It's a place that is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful and soul-crushingly terrifying, sometimes in the very same instant. And this is the new reality a captive is forced to live in.
The Fae have a name for this captivity, the Durance, and their logic for who they take is just chillingly practical. They often go for children because the child's mind is flexible, it's adaptable, and before long all the impossible, terrifying wonders of fairy, they just become normal. The memory of our world, of home, it just fades away into some half-forgotten dream. But you know what? Some do remember. Some fight it. Some find a little crack in that beautiful prison and they make a run for it. But getting away from their captor, that's just the first step on a journey that might be even more dangerous than the captivity itself.
See, between our world and theirs, there's a borderland, a kind of buffer zone. It's called the hedge, and it's this living, breathing labyrinth of thorns and briars that is actively hostile. It's not just a wall around the prison, the wall itself is alive, and it wants to keep you.
So the escape plan is basically a suicide mission. First, you have to somehow sneak past an immortal being with godlike power. Then, you have to willingly dive into a deadly, shifting maze filled with literal nightmare creatures. And even if you survive all of that, you still have to find one of these rare, hidden pathways, a trod, that might lead you home.
So what if you make it? What if against all odds, you stumble out of those thorns and back into the world you fought so hard to remember? You'd think the story's over, right? Happy ending. Not even close. A new, much more complicated chapter is just beginning. Because you didn't come back whole. You came back
changed. They're called changelings, or sometimes the lost. They're humans who have been, well, marinated in the magic and madness of fairy. They aren't entirely human anymore. That magic, that otherness, has soaked right into their bones, transforming them inside and out.
A changeling is basically living a double life. To you or me, they look normal, protected by a kind of illusion called the mask. But their true form, their men, it shows what happened to them. Their skin might be like tree bark, their eyes might be pools of shadow, their hair might be made of spun moonlight. They are forever trapped between who they seem to be and what they've truly become.
And here it is, the cruelest joke of all. When you finally make it home, after everything you've been through, you find out your spot has been taken. The Fae left a magical copy of you behind, a soulless puppet called a fetch, to live out your life. Your family, your friends, they never even knew you were gone.
So what do? You're a complete outcast. You can't go back to that beautiful, terrible prison of fairy. But you can't go back to your old life either, because it doesn't belong to you anymore. The whole journey for the lost becomes this desperate search for a new identity, a new family, a new purpose, in a world that can't see them for what they truly are. And that's a question that goes way beyond folklore, isn't it? When everything you thought you were is stripped away, what's left? What new life do you build from the wreckage of the old one? It's really a story about survival, about trauma, and about the incredible defiant resilience it takes to find a way to just begin again.